Man, guys, am I actually hyped? I think it's the more that I think about it and the more that I watch, some of the trades and some of the stuff that we picked up. I guess before I get off my rant, this is Chris in real life. I'm here doing some Chiefs talk. I just have a few things that I wanted to talk about. As I started off, I am super hyped. I think that our defense is actually, and call me crazy, but this is one of those bold prediction sort of things. I think that Chiefs defense, I think we're going to have a top 10 defense. Now, actually hear me out. So we made a lot of offseason moves. We got rid of Dee Ford. We got rid of Justin Houston, cut Eric Berry. It was basically like, if you're a Chiefs fan like me, it was kind of like having your heart ripped out a little bit just because of Dee Ford was on the up and up. He was finally doing what we wanted him to do and looking the way, if not for me, even better than what I thought that he could be. And so losing him, which makes sense because he was getting ready for a big payday and we need to save that money for Mahomes and to keep some of those people on offense. I think that, if they renegotiate Kelsey's contract, I know that they have him, they got him locked in early before his potential really kicked off. With the way that he's playing and now being officially the league's top tight end, essentially, which I think that he has already been for the last 3 seasons. I think that he's also due for a little bit of a budge in his contract. And so I know that, we really had to free up some of that space to lock in Patrick Mahomes to make him a franchise quarterback, which I think that we all want anyways. We made some pretty bold payoffs with Sammy Watkins and Anthony Hitchens that hopefully, God forbid, if Tyreek is out, which I think that he is going to be, we're going to need Sammy to be playing at the level that he needs to be playing at and being paid to play at, essentially. But back to the defense, bringing in Frank Clark, coming from a defense that has attitude and has, some of that swagger, just like the Texans have a little bit, bringing in Tyrann Mathieu. I think that, really think about the players that we already do still have with Chris Jones on defense. Some of the people and some of the names that we forgot about, we brought in Armani Watts, and at least for me, I felt like he had a lot of potential. He really made some pretty solid plays throughout preseason before he got injured. And so I think that having him in the depth and learning still, I think that is really good. Jordan Lucas, listen, I was highly, highly, highly impressed with Jordan Lucas. Some of the plays that he made, and even, some of his ball hawking skills and, stretching across field and making a big play a few times later on down the road. Whenever he came in, I was thoroughly impressed with the way that he carried himself and, seeing the ambition anytime he had a chance to talk after a game. So I think that Jordan Lucas is only going to get even better. So we brought in Juan Thornhill, which I see a lot of size and stylistics between him and Jordan Lucas. I think that Juan might be a little bit, further ahead, but switching those two off and on, or having two deep and one in the box, maybe Jordan Lucas and Juan Thornhill deep and having Matthew come down and some of those, sub packages, I think would work out great, honestly. And then Alex Okafor and some of these other people that we're going to have that's going to be down on the line, I think that we're going to have a really solid line. So I think with all those things, having those guys in the back and having the depth that we have, I believe that we have at the safety position, I find it hard to believe that we're not going to have an incredibly solid defense. I think if, Chris Jones keeps up the pressure, and Frank Clark's going to bring a lot of pressure as well. Those guys are, they have the ability, have the ability to get to the ball and get to the quarterback and apply that pressure. I think that we're still going to have a high octane offense. So I think that a lot of the teams are going to be playing from behind. So it's still going to be teams, with passing offenses. I think that they're going to feel pressure to pass, and I think that our run game is going to be a little bit better having 4 up front. And, I think Hitchens and Ragland's come a long way. Ragland, I think, is going to be a lot better. I saw a lot of stuff that he was doing that I was impressed by. I think that actually throughout a lot of last season, I was probably more impressed with Ragland than I was with Hitchens. I don't know if it was just, what we were paying him and what, I feel like I saw Hitchens miss and flub a lot of tackles, and I was thoroughly disappointed. And I want to think and I want to hope that having players like Frank Clark and, Tyrann Mathieu, and with the addition of Spagnuolo, I don't think that he's gonna take, his players doing or making those kinds of mistakes on defense. I just don't. I don't think that he's going to make the same mistakes that we've had in the previous years past, with, seeming like that stuff is being let slide. And I think that the Chiefs did really good, when, God forbid, when Eric Berry left with the injury, and when they had him fighting on the sidelines, and when he was even coming back and being sidelined, and talking to the team on the side and still being that voice in the locker room. I don't know, and I don't remember a lot of times last season when Eric Berry was out that I would hear or even see those things happen from Eric Berry. I would see him on the sidelines taking notes and, maybe saying a few things here and there. And I think that Eric Berry could be a really good coach if that's what he wanted to do, if he feels like his football career is done and no team's going to pay him for the inconsistency. But I feel like Mathieu, just from what I know and what I've seen and what I've heard, and even with Frank Clark, being very vocal leaders in the locker room and getting on to people and making sure that people are accountable and themselves even. So with that being said, I feel like having a lot of that, I feel like that, with Justin Houston and Eric Berry getting older and, just sort of, I don't know if they were just fed up with a lot of the stuff that was going on or, what it was. But I like I said, I feel like that with having these changes in, and I think that a lot of these players know that, obviously this team was one snap away from the Super Bowl, and, 3 fingers offsides even. They know, a lot of these guys that we're bringing in, they know that we were that close with having, if not the worst defense in the NFL. So if they try and work that much harder and make sure that, these guys are accountable and, they are hitting these guys hard and hitting them right, properly, it's hard to see this team not being a top 10, top 15 defense. And I really think it's possible. I really do. And I know that it's hard to believe with all the changes that we've made. We cut out half the defense. We cut half the coaching staff, brought in a whole bunch of new guys. And it's hard to say that, a team that's not had half the guys on their roster before, half the guys are even better. They know the program, they know the OTAs and the off season, and these other guys don't know how we do things. And even the guys that are here, some of the things that we're doing is going to be different because we have a new guy teaching us how to do things, and we're completely changing defensive schemes. So it's hard to say, obviously, that, we are going to be better, but it's hard to say that we're not going to be better than what we were last year, because it's not hard to be better. But the jump that I'm making and the bold prediction that I'm making is I think that we're going to be top 10. A lot of people aren't really excited about our linebacking core, and I think that Ragland has a lot of things to be excited about. And we had, Dorian O'Daniel and, some of these other guys that had appearances that I think that are going to be exciting. And the biggest question mark, obviously, is the cornerback core. I think that Kendall Fuller, he did a lot of good things and he did a lot of bad things. I didn't think that he really lived up to the hype that he could have. But I think when it mattered, I think that he made some solid plays and played really well. I think that, some of these other guys that we're bringing in, Bashaud Breeland, I think that a lot of these guys have a lot of potential, and I think that, the type of scheme that we're moving to, I think that they have a lot of room to flourish and have a little bit of help from the linebacking core in this type. So things to look forward ahead to. Let me know what you guys think. You know, this is Chris, the reason I call this channel Chris in Real Life. My name's Chris, obviously. This channel, I'm not going to be doing all those editing things. I'm not going to be doing like that. It's going to be, I guess, more vlog style post. You know, I feel like that's more real. I'm in my car. You see me driving. You know, I'm not scripting a lot of things. This is all stuff that, you know, I'm just thinking of. And I'd really appreciate if you guys took time to, you know, like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. I just want to, you know, I want to communicate and talk with what I consider friends and family, and that's the Chiefs Kingdom. You know, so like I said, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. Drop a like if you even just kind of appreciate what I'm doing. I'm just sort of going off at a tangent now, so I'll let you guys go. It's Monday, so I wanted to kind of get into it and have a little fun talking about some Chiefs stuff. So we don't really have a lot of time left before the season starts and we get to the camp. Madden's coming out soon. If you guys are getting it, I'm pretty hyped about it. I heard that, you know, a lot of the mechanics are more realistic, obviously, aside from, you know, some of the stuff they're adding, X Factor modes. And I'll get into more of that later. I'm probably going to do a video on that as well. So I've always been playing the Madden games and, you know, having fun with that. So you guys have a great week and rock on, you know. Have a good one.